Hey everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review. This one was a big one. Officially, Keiji Muto has retired. We will be reviewing Keiji Muto's final match, his final show. The full title of the show was called Keiji Muto Grand Final Pro Wrestling Last Love.
The most Noah name ever. Like, I never want them to stop. Like, just be you.
Right?
It's
It's
their
a
names are
great title.
so good.
I love the promotional art for it. I'll use it in the thumbnail too. It's like Muta sitting on the Iron Throne, and it's like,
Hey, and you know what? I don't want to get too into it now, but like we talked, I messaged you about like Noah just knows how to put on a pay-per-view. Like,
yeah,
no
a 5 hour
hesitation.
show did not feel like a 5 hour show.
No, and I have no even remote second thought about it. Everything we've watched that involved Noah has been absolutely so well executed. There's been no errors.
No
Not like
audio
not like
issues.
tomorrow's review that we're doing.
Yeah,
But I
there were
think
no audio issues. The announcers were clear. The camera work is
okay,
fantastic.
they have the best camera work I've ever seen in wrestling, dude. Their presentation of how just the way they do it, there's no screens. It's all light work, like a concert. It's
Yeah.
all light work and
But
laser
even
show
like
and
as they're
smoke.
approaching the ring, it's shot in a cinematic 24 frames per second as opposed to a 30.
And it's shot with 4K cameras. So when they zoom in, it has that blur and then it goes away and it
Yeah.
focuses and it's so high quality.
Yeah.
Bro, it looks amazing.
Yeah. They're
Like,
we got to give them this. Their production quality is top notch.
We watched this for a while and like I didn't even like I said it was good, but I didn't catch on to it fully. So in the men's match, the first one that we talk about, I won't get into it yet, but I didn't really notice it that much. In the women's match, when you started noticing all the little details on their like gear, I was like, holy crap, how is it this HD? And I only had it on 720p.
Yeah.
I wasn't even watching
Can you
it.
Imagine watching it in 4K? I'm going to go back.
Crap.
Like when it's on the streaming service, I'm going back and watching it on my 4K TV just to see.
Me too, because I can't I'm it's insane. And by the way, they are the only company that you can literally download that app for that site.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you could do it on all devices, but like you could push it to your TV probably.
Yeah. Google
digress.
Cast.
I love the info boxes.
Yes, every time a new wrestler came into the ring, they had the little not their weight, their age, like depending on who it was.
It helps.
Yes, so you know who you're watching, especially if you're.
And when it's like All Japan and you're like, oh, I don't know any All Japan wrestlers, and it's like, oh, Jimmy Chang,
Jimmy Neutron. But with that out of the way, we're going to get into our first pre-show match, which was Masa Kitamiya and Daiki Inaba against Yoshiki Inamura and Yasuta Takayano. Why
Listen,
Yano?
You do know way more Japanese than any of us, but I'm gonna admit right now, the names of the people in Noah are so difficult.
Yeah, they are like very hard to pronounce. I'm not a native Japanese speaker. I try my best. I've taken a couple classes here and there, but it's like I have trouble.
But especially with Noah, I'm trying to read their names as the cards come up, and I can't even read it because it's so like they're long and there's like 20 million syllables.
Characters.
Yeah, and it's all consonants. There's like
it's very you have to know who they are and say their name a few times in order to get who they are. But I mean, it was a fun little pre-show match. It wasn't really
it was fine.
I think it was just to get the crowd, get their appetite, because you could still see the crowd, some of the lights were still on. They didn't really have those big entrances.
At first I didn't realize this was a pre-show. Well, actually, I didn't realize it was a pre-show until you just told me. But because they had a lot of intermissions. There was like 5 intermissions in this pay-per-view.
Yes. But there was a really big one after one of the matches.
There was one that was almost an hour.
Yeah.
But I think I came off weird. I was like, how come the whole arena's empty? I'm like, there's no way. But as you got to that main event and you saw how many people were there, this event was
the Tokyo Dome after all. It's 30,000 people.
Yeah. It really paid off to use this venue.
Yeah. Yeah. Next match, I wouldn't say this was the best match, but I had the most fun with this match.
Okay, so let me see it. Let me say something.
Your girl is in this match.
So it started up and I was like, oh, 8-person tag number 1, 8-woman tag number 2, Tokyo Joshi Pro number 3. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be doo-doo fest. First of all, like the team that they brought out, when I saw one team is Maki Ito and
Miyu Watanabe and Mizuki.
And Mizuki. Okay, so you have Mizuki and Maki Ito on one team, and those are 2 big name wrestlers. And then on the other team, you had Yamashita and Yuka Sakazaki.
Yep.
And I'm like,
your favorite.
I was like, what? You brought out, like, this is probably the 4 top wrestlers in the whole company.
Yeah.
In this match. So they weren't playing around. And
that's why I had the most fun with this match.
It was so much fun. Dude, can I just this is the most important thing you're ever going to know. Watanabe made Claudio look like a bitch. Her giant swing was insane. She was going so fast and she spun around so many times.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, like I said, this was a really fun match this was the middle of the 3 pre-show matches. And yeah,
and then she did a double power slam.
Yes. She picked up 2 ladies and power slammed them both. Like it was, like I said, I even have that in my notes. I even put, this is 10 times better than anything the WWE has put out. And this was on a pre-show.
And like I said, I've been watching a lot of Wrestling Universe because we pay for it now.
Yeah.
To watch DDT and Joshi Pro, and it's like, you know how we make fun of what they do to the Stardom girls on YouTube? Yeah. The actual shows for Joshi Pro are like that. Like they're just objects in the ring, and it's not taken very seriously. I mean, mind you, they get a good crowd, but it's hard to watch sometimes because the matches aren't intense. They're just kind of goofy all the time.
They're objectifying them, yeah.
But in this match, that all played so well. It just worked so well. And then you
could tell this was not just Joshi Pro's booking. This had a little bit of everybody's booking in this.
Yeah, you could see they didn't want to have a crappy match on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, especially something of this caliber.
When you're paying money for a pay-per-view and you're expecting to get a good product, like Noah's delivering, and you're getting 4 hours of wrestling
for $20. This show was only $20.
And it's a solid, just what they delivered to you in production value alone is worth it.
Yeah. I said,
it's a couple things. I'm sorry. I got
no.
You know, the mat seems a lot stiffer than other wrestling companies. The ropes are very thick and they don't bounce well. People are standing on them and they're not even like sinking down.
Bending,
they're like fully,
they're wound so tight. Yes.
And I love the camera work. Okay. So
yeah. But yeah, like I said, it was a fun women's match. I believe this was the only women's match on the card, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Yeah. So at least they got some sort of showcase, and it was a good showcase, and I had a lot of fun with this. This was the longest match of all the pre-show matches.
Anytime you want to put Yuka Sakazaki and Maki Ito in the ring for me, I'm happy.
Absolutely. Next you had your final pre-show match of the good-looking guys of Jake Lee, Jack Morris, I call him Zach Morris, Anthony Green against Tashi Sigura, Timothy Thatcher, and Satoshi Kojima.
Hey,
Japanese legend.
Thatcher's banger. He had a good match recently.
Yeah, not in Strong. Was it in Strong or was it in?
It was on something we watched. Anyways, I digress. Oh no, it was against Bryan Danielson, I think.
Yes, on.
Yeah, that was a good.
Yes, that was a good.
But I was wondering, is Jack Morris Hugh Morris's son?
No, I don't think so.
Like Hugh Morris is not that old, right?
Well, yeah, Hugh Morris is probably in his late 50s, early 60s.
I was gonna say because he was pretty. He went to Japan a lot.
Yeah, Hugh Morris was in Japan a lot.
So maybe his son was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go to Japan." Anyways, I just thought that was the thing.
But I mean, these guys, like I could see, like especially the Jack Morris, Anthony Green. I could see them coming over to North America in like a Ring of Honor and having some sort of success there.
Yeah, there were this was
They got great gimmicks. It's like they'll
it was
fit
fun.
in with that American style of wrestling.
It was this was a decent match, especially because it's still like we're not even in the actual card.
Yeah.
Like
And like I said, these were just to get the crowd
you had 2
excited.
decent men's matches and a really fun women's match so far.
Yeah.
So I'm already like
Invested. I'm already invested.
thanks.
Next we have the first of our long intermissions between the pre-show and the main card. The pre-show was an hour and a half, and there was only about 20 minutes of matches. So there's a lot of talking. I fast forward through most of it because I don't really understand too much Japanese.
I'm starting to understand it in context and not actually the words.
Yeah, you can tell by their inflection what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because they do show this, they splash the graphic on the screen too when they're talking.
Yeah, I know occasionally they'll use an English word like power slamu.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I know.
And then, like I said, we go into the main
Giant
show.
swingu. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I cut you off.
We go into the main show proper. We had in the last match, the good-looking guys go over: Jake Lee, Jack Morris, and Anthony Green. Next we go main show proper. It was Stinger, which is Ogawa and Chris Ridgway, Eita and Daga against Kotoge, Yohei, Yoshioka, Alejandro, and Junta Miyawaki.
I kind of like Daga. Like I'm kind of just like
the former Mr. Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's growing on me a little bit.
Yeah, he's a good, like, I think is he with AAA right now?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And Ridgway was like, this was basically a showcase for Chris Ridgway.
Yeah.
Like
this was actually, and I hate these matches, you know this, I've said it already.
Especially 10-man. Like we had like a whole bunch of these, like 8, 10, 8, 6, like,
and I'm gonna be honest with you, they were all entertaining. I never once wanted to fast forward or anything.
Yeah. There was a purpose to them, where sometimes what New Japan suffers from is we don't have anywhere for these guys to be on the card, so let's put them in an 8-man tag.
Yeah, and these are matches between people that already have storylines going against each other.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you're just adding an extra person on each team.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we see in the Impact pay-per-view in their trios.
Yeah, I think this was this the one where the team what's his name? Ogawa, he like turns his back on Daga and Eita and they walk out of the ring after the match.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's setting up something there, like, clearly.
Yeah, didn't they just like pick him up and like throw him back down on the ground?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like I said, I think this was more a showcase for Ridgway, even though he took the pin in this. But it was still a fun opener. That's the thing about an opener. It was a good opener and it didn't go too long. This was only about 7 minutes.
Can I ask you a question? Because
Sure.
I already forgot what's his name, Dr.
Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr.?
Yeah, that's my favorite guy. Okay, sorry.
He's coming up later in the show. Next, you have another 8-man tag match, which was Mao, Katsumata, Yuki Ueno, Toju Kojima against Tetsuya Endo, Yuya Koruko, Hideki Okatani, and Takeshi Masada. Don't know who any of these people are, but it was still a fun match to me.
Yeah.
This was one of those matches that had a little bit of everything. You had some high flyers, you had some hard hitters, like it was a little bit of everything.
The ring work is very fluid.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a CMLL, like a lucha style.
Mm-hmm.
And it still has the hard hitting feel of New Japan, but all of these matches flow. They really just like there's a whole like seamless like
transition between tags,
and it feels different.
It feels organic
with the goddamn production value. You're just like, wow, I'm watching a movie.
Yeah, the production value adds a lot to. I think
if Zack Snyder directed wrestling, that would be this.
That would be, except it wasn't desaturated in the
color.
The
storylines work.
Yeah, and the story. But it was another fun, quick match. The 37 Kamina is what the team is called. They're the ones that go over against the other team was called Burning. That's the one with okay, Mao, Katsumata, they won. Ueno and Kojima. Like I said, I'm not familiar with these guys, but it was a fun match, and like I said, I enjoyed it, and we're already like a third of the way into the show at this point,
Yeah.
and it didn't even feel like it.
No, the matches are not short, but they're not long.
Yeah, there's nothing until the end of the show. There's really nothing that goes over 15 minutes.
A lot of the time that they take up is the intros and stuff
The
like
entrance,
that.
because that was a long ramp.
But I freaking loved every match. I was excited just to watch them come out because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get this crazy camera zoom in on them, and it's gonna be fun music and light. The light show, like,
it's like a
concert level. Like, this is like Pink Floyd in concert level, and we're gonna see it later. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that after. Yeah, next you have some names we are familiar with. It was Marufuji, your boy El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., and Ninja Mac going over Shun Skywalker, Kai, and Diamante. This match was insane.
Wicked names, all around. Can I like Marufuji? I know we're just started watching Noah, but
he's become one of my favorites
easily, and he's one of the most talented wrestlers working right now. But it's so odd to me that he's in the position where he is, and he's being utilized the way he is. But
because I mean, he's what do we say? He's in his
Kiyomiya
mid-40s.
Is the champion,
and
the next guy in line for the championship is the guy in charge of the Nito opposite faction. What the hell's his name? The blonde
Congo
guy.
there.
Yeah,
the guy from Congo.
I'm talking about.
Not is it Keno?
Keno.
Yeah.
So those two are like
that's the rematch. He beat Keno for the belt.
Those are the main two title people, but somehow Marufuji's just not involved with the main title, and he should
that's like having Tetsuya Naito not involved in the main title picture.
He's bigger than that. He's like Tanahashi of this
level.
company.
Yeah, because he's
Keno
been around
is like
for
the
a while,
Naito, and Kiyomiya is the Okada of this company.
Yeah, because they even look similar.
And it's just like, even the other guy, the lightweight champion, is just like Master Wado. He's just like
he is
of him.
Amakusa,
Wado, and Jar Jar Binks.
Yes, up. But like I said, this one was a great match. Like you said, it had that flow, that organic, like lucha style, it was it this match that had that crazy spot by Ninja Mac where he did
Ninja Mac, dude. Ninja Mac is like some special shit, and nobody talks about.
He did like this weird like flip shit and jumped over the top. Like
so his finishing move is like, what does the Pac do? Like a flesh arrow?
Yeah.
Falcon arrow, whatever it's called.
The black arrow.
But it also has like another spin on it, a sideways spin,
twist.
You're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. It was like, it was insane. When I literally had to rewind it like 3 times just to watch that. I was like, holy shit. Like, this guy is something. Ninja Mac is he's even the was it the other one? He was on the other team, Diamante. I think he was the one with the gold mask. He reminded me of a mask.
They were in a fight recently where that had El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Senior, DDS.
DDS.
But
yeah, this was another good match. Like I said, we're 6 matches in. Basically, at this point, we're halfway through, and like it didn't feel like it for me once again. This is where we had,
regardless of my score at the end of this. This is one of the most fun experiences I've had since I started watching wrestling again.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely
it's been both times.
More.
Both Noah shows that we've watched have been the most fun.
Yeah, and I've watched now 4 total Noah events, including the one where they cross over, and they've all been the best quality of all the events.
Yeah.
In terms of just like all around. And it's kind of like, you do drugs and you do drugs forever, but you're always looking for that first high again.
Yeah.
Finding Noah gave me that experience of when I first discovered New Japan, and I was like, what is this? And now I'm going to lose it now. It's going to go away. But like, at the moment, I
think what it is with Noah too is we don't watch enough of it. We're not oversaturated with it. so it still feels special every time we
And
watch
it
it.
doesn't feel like New Japan. It feels
It's
like
completely different.
It's its own thing.
Yeah. Like
And like
it is. Like you could tell.
for people who don't know, New Japan is like the WWE of Japanese wrestling, okay? And this is a perfect comparison. I thought of this because it even links up. So Pro Wrestling Noah is the AEW, okay? DDT is the Ring of Honor because it's literally owned by the
Linked,
same
yeah.
people. All Japan is like your Impact, and then Dragon Gate is like your MLW or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so insane how the North American lineup of companies and the Japanese one it like
Mirror each
perfectly
other.
mirrors each other.
The only thing is you would never see WWE working with AEW, where here,
Also Noah is production quality is better than any company I've ever seen ever.
yeah, like you even noticed it, like going back to the Wrestle Kingdom Night 2, if you want to call it that, the New Japan versus, you could tell that was a New Japan produced show as
But it
opposed to
had that influence of Noah still, where it
yeah,
was very
the
plain. It's
the
simple.
booking, yes.
Like everything looks simple. It's good
Yeah.
enough to catch your eye, but it's like, oh, you don't think about it too much, and then some lights start flashing, and you're like, oh, what is this?
What is this? I'm intrigued. But next we have another one of those. This was another, like, it was a good 45-minute intermission, I guess. People went out, got their popcorn, whatever they wanted to do. We come back to a first of, I guess, 4 or 5, I guess you can call it 5 crossover matches. So the first this was Congo of Keno, Nakajima, and Soya Beans over there, representing
Yo, I like that guy.
that's the dude with the red hair. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's like
I like
their
that guy.
he's like their Ishii.
And I like the other guy. What's the other guy? Not Keno.
Nakajima.
He has this just like look in his eyes of insanity.
Yeah.
Did you see at the end of the match when he's just like staring at
Face
the guy?
yeah.
Like, I'm not scared at all. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I was like, I like this guy.
I like when he does that. He did it in the last match. In the last match, we saw him too, where he's leaning in the middle rope and he has his feet on the corner of the guy's.
Yeah.
Like it's just a great spot, and I mark out every time I see that spot.
Shout out to him.
And they were going. They went over the team of Miyahara, Suwama, and Yumi Agoya, representing All Japan. When I saw this, I'm like, oh my god, they're doing a crossover match with All Japan, which I did not expect. I thought this was going to be a Noah New Japan.
And they made sure to tell you, it says at the top of the screen, All Japan versus
Noah. In Japanese, but that's what Google translates.
You know.
Google Translate. But yeah, Congo go over, which they should have because it's their promotion, but it's setting up something for the future. I don't know what, but this looks
interesting. Noah is all in on crossovers.
They're doing what
this year is going to be.
They're doing what Impact is basically going to be doing this year.
Impact is about to do the exact same thing multiple times.
Which, yeah, in on the show we talk about tomorrow night, there is a match with a crossover, and oh my god, that was one of my favorite matches I've seen so far. Congo goes over, another good match. Like I can't say anything bad about this. Like this was
nothing here is like top friggin' 9, 10 out of 10, but it's so far there's been nothing for me.
I'm entertained, and that's all I ask for.
The third match of the pre-show was kind of stale.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just been an enjoyable experience of me absolutely hating more than 2-on-2 on one team, but it's working and I don't care.
And you don't. Well, I mean, that was our last multiple member team tag matches. Next, we go into a proper tag team match. This was Bullet Club representing New Japan Pro Wrestling against was it Dragon Gate or was it no? It was
It's Dragon Gate.
Yeah. Which this was what's his name?
No,
Wrong Guy's final
last match.
Yeah.
I did not know that, and surprisingly, can I say something?
Was married to Io Shirai.
I didn't know that I knew him. And then I saw him and I was like, bro, I know this guy. When they said the name, I was like, oh, I don't know these wrestlers. And I saw him. I'm like, dude, I've known this guy for like 20 years. I know who this guy is.
He's done like a few. I think he's done some All Japan, some ECW. Like,
yeah, he's been around, dude. He's a legendary wrestler. And when I saw that this was his last match, I was wondering kind of like what was happening towards the end, and I put 2 and 2 together because you see it.
He's broken.
Yeah, but the match was surprisingly entertaining.
Yeah, it was very short. It was under 5 minutes.
But they had to.
Yeah.
For reasons. But Ishimori
well, I mean,
was
Gato too. Gato can't go that long either.
Gato was like a lot older than him.
Yeah, Gato's like what, 60?
60, I think.
Yeah.
Said. And
which I love those splash screens. It tells you.
I love it. 53, I believe, is how old. Okay, Muta is
60.
Is 60. Sting is 63, guys. Sting's splashing all around those babies, hitting his head through tables. Anyways, digression. But
we haven't seen Sting in a while, not since Muta's other match.
Let him have some time. Let him. He's probably in Japan just hanging out.
But, Ribera Steakhouse.
It's at the end of this match, there's like an impact to it. It's something that I struggle. Like we talk about this with the women's matches in Japan. I struggle to find this in North American wrestling. And Ishimori stands over top of him and he's like crying and he like puts his hand out. He's like talking to him because he knows it's this guy's
last match. Like you see it, like Ishimori's supposed to be the stone cold heel. And I don't mean it in a Steve Austin stance, but like he's supposed to be they call him the Bone Soldier. And you see him doing the honorable thing at the end and you see him bow.
Yeah, and it's like you could see he was getting sad about it. Even Gato had like tears in his eyes that he was holding back.
That
and
he was
like,
part of something special, something.
Yeah, because like this is, I think this whole retirement thing is a fun idea. I really enjoy it.
Like we saw it with Ric Flair. We saw it with Ric Flair. We saw it with Ricky Steamboat.
But they went out differently. In a big event, and I enjoyed it. Sting is going to go a world tour just like Muta did, and it's going to be epic and it's going to be fun. And Chris Jericho is going to do the same thing.
Yeah,
and that's why it pays to be these guys that have experience in other places. Like when you're retiring in WWE, you do one match and then you put in the Hall of Fame. And sure, it's special, but it's not the same.
Like Undertaker. Is a perfect example.
Yeah, Jericho's going to go to CMLL and have a last match. He's going to go to Japan and have a last match.
He's probably going to do one in WWE.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be that to me is like, this was the moment when I was like, and we didn't even get to Muto yet.
Yeah.
And it's like, I thought it was special. And the crowd really like was loud for him.
Yeah, they were.
Gate.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, you can't go that much. So they cut the match a little short, but it was still a great match. And it's always nice to see, like, people talk about protecting the industry and protecting kayfabe, but when you see something like this that means so much, I think kayfabe should go out the window.
I don't think kayfabe matters except in the initial storytelling of what's happening. This event, the New Japan guys have no story here. So you're just like with Naito. And we'll talk about that when we get there. He stayed in character completely throughout the entirety of that.
He did.
Which that guy's my favorite. Like it doesn't get better than that. But this was great.
Yeah. And it was like, this wasn't even advertised until like not that long ago that this was going to be Wrong Guys.
And if you see the Japanese poster for this event, it has the Muta and it has a slash on it. And on the side, it shows that it's also his last match.
His last match. Yeah. And this was also somebody else's retirement match. And we'll get to that later.
Kind of.
Next, we have the blow off from the New Japan versus Noah feud of champion versus champion, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion of Hiromu Takahashi against the GHC Junior Heavyweight Champion Amakusa. This was the blow off.
Amakusa is good, man.
He's like you said, he's a better version of Master Wato.
Dude, this match was good. This was a good match. This is
the best I've seen Takahashi since he came back from the injury.
I'll reserve a comment for later as we get to there. Mm-hmm. This is one of the matches of the year right now.
Yeah, I could see that. It's a contender.
It's not going to win, but it could definitely be in the argument because it was this is the best
junior heavyweight.
What's his name?
Takahashi?
This is the best Takahashi match of this year, and he was already in 2 bangers.
Yes.
This was the best match of the year.
Because he was in that 4-way match.
He was in the 4-way match, and then he was also in the crossover event.
Yeah.
But this was the best match that he's had this year. And it flowed. It just flowed. And
Takahashi flies under a lot of people's radar, how good this guy actually can be.
He's not as good as he used to be pre-injury.
Yeah.
You could see it. But he's just like, I understand why they gave him the title back.
Yeah. I mean, there's plans. We talked about in the last episode, when we do a State of Wrestling for March, we'll probably talk about that too, where they're going to be going with this. But I mean, for now, Takahashi's a good placeholder for until the next champion comes along.
They Okada'd it with him.
Yeah.
And I'm okay.
Absolutely.
But
I'm okay with this. Yeah. And Amakusa, like, he's their junior heavyweight, and he is, like you said, a better version of Master Wato. This was a fantastic. It was fast paced. It was hard hitting. It had everything.
And it was a lengthier match in terms of when I'm watching a special match, like for a title, I want the match to be long, but I don't want it to feel long. And this was that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like 12 minutes or something like that. It wasn't.
Yeah,
and that's
WWE,
perfect.
this would have been 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Takahashi goes over.
Yeah, and I'm actually really surprised with the willingness of Noah to just let New Japan constantly keep winning.
It's the exposure that they're getting now.
I know, they love it.
Like, when was the last time Noah?
Us. That's your example.
But I mean, when was the last time Noah was able to sell out the Tokyo Dome?
It's been a long time. They are usually Yokohama Arena people.
Yeah. So, it's big when they're selling out to Tokyo Dome. 30,000 people.
I was going to wait a bit, but dude, it was loud. It was freaking loud.
Louder than Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, by far. Not even close. This event, arguably, minus the sing-songy loudness of AEW, put all other events this year to shame. Noise-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with this. We get into our semifinal main event, whatever you want to call it, our co-main event, champion versus champion. Again, this is the blow off to Kiyomiya and Okada from about a month back, where we talked about the review. Go watch the review on Wrestle Kingdom Night 2, where we didn't know if it was a work or if it was a shoot, and clearly it was a work. We don't care.
But I want to ask you a question. What's one thing of this match that you already know that I don't like?
Oh, there's so much. I don't know.
Well, it's that Okada's here.
Yes.
What an absolute goddamn banger. Holy crap. If this is not in the conversation
this is where what's his name?
Year,
this is where what's his name came on commentary too. Tanahashi.
If this is not in the conversation for match of the year
this
all
was
around the world.
Fantastic match.
Holy crap, dude. The suplex spots outside on the concrete
on the ramp.
Crazy. Like
through the barricade.
Oh my god, dude. This was such a good, and it was so hard hitting. There was no holding back. They were just feeding it to each other. And there was one part,
I forgot what Okada did, something with the barricades, and he just walks away with this, the camera zooms up to his face, and he just had this arrogant look on his face.
Was right at the very beginning, he opened the door to the barricade, and he took him out and slammed him on the concrete, and then just came and then slammed the door, I think, on him. I can't remember, but he just walked away. He just went back and stood in the ring.
Yeah. Like a la Stone Cold used to do.
This is if you ever wanted to take a lesson on how to tell a story, well, throw a shoot fight, have someone sneak in after a match and beat somebody up again, and then this is not ending. This has to go one more.
I think they may do a title match.
And let him go over. Let Kiyomiya go over.
Yes.
This is it.
Can you imagine what that would do for New Japan when you have a rival company's champ? It would be like Omega becoming Impact champion again.
Dude, it's just epic.
It was I even put down, this was definitely the match of the night for me.
I could not believe it. And you know how I just watched Tanahashi versus Okada, and I left mediocrely feeling about it. This match was insane. And he rainmakered him. picked him up again, rainmakered him again, picked him up again.
Right. He went for the pin and he pulled him off.
Yeah. And then he tried to tombstone him. He just got out, drop kicked Okada again, and then Okada rainmakered him again.
But both of them have we talk about Okada's drop kicks, but Kiyomiya's drop kicks are beautiful as well.
You know I think there's more to this behind the scenes than we know, and he's like the protege to Okada, and I think we just don't know it.
What if this sets up Kiyomiya in the G1 or something?
Oh, dude, you know what? I don't care. Holy shit!
What just happened?
I turned and the pillow moved.
Oh, I thought you bro walked in the room.
I was like, what the hell? Anyways, yeah.
I digress. And the thing is, too, they didn't let this match go too long.
We're doing it live.
Yes. They didn't let this match go too long either. This was about 16 minutes, which is short for an Okada match.
But it felt, once again, it felt long.
But it felt impactful.
Not bad. It felt like it was everything was impactful.
Yeah, this has Noah's booking fingerprints all over it.
One of the matches of the year.
Yeah, and that's 2 of them tonight.
Yeah.
2 of them. We are only at the end of February, and we've had at least 7 or 8 candidates for match of the year.
Yeah, surprisingly, too, they almost all came out of Japan.
Yeah, I think only one of them was out of North America, wasn't it?
We'll find out at the end of the year.
Yeah, but like I said, Okada goes over. He gets the retribution, but I don't think this feud is over by a long shot.
No. I think you have to keep going. It's so good. You're gonna stop now?
They can't.
No.
They got to have the rubber match now. This is the 3rd match I want to see. Not Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar.
Dude, the next match is going to be tables. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. There's going to be a double disqualification in the next match.
And it will be in New Japan.
Yes. But Okada goes over. Like I said, that's why I don't think this is over by a long shot.
Kiyomiya has to win eventually.
Yeah, and I think Kiyomiya may be taking the IWGP belt. That's my thought.
I think this match should have been for both titles.
Yeah.
This was the moment to do it. It was such a good match.
Yeah. There's something about a title match in the next show we'll talk about, but this was such a fantastic match. Like you said, 2 match of the year candidates on the same show. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Yes, it has.
Well,
it
okay.
has.
It has.
Night 2 or night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom, Kenny Omega,
and Okada.
Both of those fights.
Next, you had this really amazing intermission, but it was very emotional, very heartfelt about Keiji Muto talking about how, if I had to do this all over again, I wouldn't change a single thing, pro wrestling. Yeah, with Frank Sinatra's, but they mirrored it.
With the Naito one with a punk version of the same song.
With the Sid Vicious version, exactly.
And dude, this is one of the best promos I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yes.
It's so well filmed and it had so much emotion to it.
How he was saying how he looked up to Inoki when he was younger. They showed that clip of Naito losing to Keiji Muto at Wrestle Kingdom in 2012. And he wouldn't shake his hand after.
This was
a feud 10 years in the making, basically.
And it's so sad to see that this is the way that it had to happen, because you seen in 2012 they showed the highlights. He was still doing moonsaults.
Yeah, there was a point in this match. I made a point of it. Was he got to the second rope and you could see he's hesitating and he's like, no, I can't do this. And he got off the rope. And I was like, okay, maybe, because I've noticed
this match was very on the ground.
Yes. Very submission, very technical.
Yeah, it was like a Zack Sabre match.
Yes. And you said that Naito stayed in character except his robe. Did you catch what his robe said?
Yes. So, but he didn't leave the character.
No.
He paid his respects, but he didn't leave character. And he came out to an absolute banger pop.
Yes, he got a huge, huge pop.
But then, we saw one of I'm gonna once again say this, one of the best entrances I've ever seen, where they played every single
Entrance
song
music,
that
yeah,
he's ever had, but it
all
made
in
it
a
seem like
medley.
changing through a radio station where it would go and then it would switch to the next one, and the colors of the lights would change, and they
Would
would all be
change,
like
and
the way that they went in unison and they all moved and like did put on the show. Dude, this is like, take
they
a
really
note.
went all out for this one.
This was like, I would have paid $50 to watch this pay-per-view. No problem.
Yeah, if I was able to go to the show and the tickets were $300-400, I'd
Well,
pay it
I
in a
would have been
heartbeat.
so happy,
Yeah,
because this is, I don't think it's hard to like put this over in words that make sense, because
Mhm.
I'm still new to this. But this is like the equivalent of like LeBron James retiring, or like, he's not a big name wrestler or a popular wrestler. He's like one of the greatest people who's ever wrestled. And in Japan,
worldwide.
he's exactly. And in Japan, he's an absolute trendsetter, to the point that he's influenced almost all of the modern Japanese wrestlers.
Absolutely.
Took characters that people did and he elevated it to a new level.
But
And
he's
now,
even influenced North American wrestlers. The whole split personality between Keiji Muto and the Great Muta. What
yeah,
do you
and
think,
that's what I'm saying.
Mankind?
He's not the first one who did these characters, but
No,
he elevated it. He's not the
right.
first one to spin mist, but he made it popular. He's not the first one to moonsault, but he made the moonsault
The
become a
Shining
regular...
Wizard.
Yeah, exactly.
And Mankind took that idea from him too. Like, because Mankind spent, like, Mick Foley spent time in Japan. He's wrestled Muta. So it's like,
so many people did Sting's character. I know it's based on the Crow, but it's
but in
also the way
Impact, he was like that Joker style Sting.
he also, yeah, the character that he played is based off Great Muta.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just a dark,
Brooding,
mysterious
yeah.
character that you don't know what the hell's going on there. And like, their careers are linked.
Yes.
They're intertwined forever. They're the two careers of Sting and Muto. And this was just really special. And
Yeah.
and I don't think, like, watching him come out, the goddamn pop was like nothing else.
Yeah. I really like the fact, they showed on commentary, they introduced him was Masahiro Chono on this one.
Oh, he came out first.
Yeah. And he got a pop too.
Okay, Masahiro Chono is, I want to say he's arguably bigger than
Muta
in the era specific.
But they were both in NWO Japan together, weren't they?
They were, and they're two of the pillars of that time, right? And so, but in that era, that early 90s to mid 90s era, Chono was probably bigger. The thing is, his career just didn't go the same direction,
because Chono made a few appearances for WCW.
So did Muta. Muta made a lot of appearances, and he was in NWA.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He had the black and white face paint. That's right.
His first appearance was in NWA in 1989.
Yeah.
And then when it changed to WCW, he came back and he joined the NWO.
Yes. And then Chono.
He turned on... who did he turn on? Who was the guy that came out with him? It was this pitcher guy, Sonny Ono.
Sonny Ono, that's right. That's right.
And,
oh man, I forgot about Sonny Ono.
There was all this because Masahiro Chono turned NWO and he turned on Ono, so Ono brought Muta out to fight him.
And then Muta
turned.
Yes, that's right. But I digress.
He's
a legend. I like the fact that all the members of LIJ were out there to support.
Oh, buddy, Sonata in that suit,
in that tux. I have that written down too. Sonata in a tux.
They're classy fuckers, that team, man. I don't care what anybody says. LIJ is where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shingo was a boss. Like, give him the title already. I don't care anymore.
Please give us Shingo versus Kiyomiya.
I'll watch Shingo fight anybody except the Great Okan in a judo match.
Even that wasn't that bad. Great Okan.
It ended up being good.
Yes, Great Okan. Really I hate to say this, but Great Okan's growing on me.
You know what? He did save the lives of like 18 random people.
Yes, but as a solo competitor, like the gimmick, it's working.
Yeah, and it's a theme song too. It's you know what it is? His character is, now that when I think of it, is very Great Muta. He comes out with the veil over his face. He
It's a
does
little
the
bit of
finger things. His fingers are
Muta. It's a
taped.
bit of Hayabusa.
Yeah, it's a little bit of like it's a hybrid of a lot of things, and the good respect to him for
Yeah.
that character. That his character is like a Mongolian warlord, even
Yeah.
though he's
Even
Japanese.
that's right. Hiroshi Tenzan let him use the Mongolian chops.
Yeah.
But
And yeah, you know what? Masahiro Chono comes out. We're skipping this. He
Yeah.
officially retires at the end of this. But it didn't feel the same. It
we'll,
should have.
we'll get to it when we get to it. But yeah, this was a long match though. This was half an hour though.
Yeah, and it was really slow paced.
Yeah.
But I never wanted to stop watching it. I'm gonna deduct points from this overall pay-per-view
Yeah.
for this match doing nothing. But I feel like it was still so special that I couldn't stop watching
it.
what was happening.
Yeah.
They bled.
Yeah.
Like,
both of them.
Both of them bled.
Yeah.
Which neither one of these guys are bleeders in the modern era.
But you know, on his and good on him. Muto puts over Nito. Nito gets the win with Destino on this one.
Muto,
so it's like
he had his thing with Sting where they won. That was like
that's my last win.
That was it. Because he put over Nakamura. That was important. To me, that was and it's like I was really hoping to get a walkaway picture of him and Naito.
But we
Naito
didn't.
Did not exit kayfabe. He would not shake his hand. He just walked away.
And I think Naito's going to use this now moving forward. I retired the Great Muta.
Yeah. He needs something because New Japan's giving him nothing.
Yeah. You know, he's out there getting banger after banger matches, and
dude was part of 2 of the matches of the year last year in our argument.
Yeah.
He was part of the match of the year.
Yes.
And he's already put on some great matches this year.
And some great moments. Like that match he had against Keno was fantastic.
Oh, excellent. That's a match of the year match right there.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of getting that walkout, Naito exits the ring, and Muta calls out Masahiro Chono. And they're like egging him on, and they're kind of like, so he goes, okay, if you want me in the ring, he points to Tiger Hattori. He goes, if I'm going to wrestle you, it's going to be my retirement match too. And we're getting Tiger Hattori to referee the match. Like, this was,
I was wondering why he was there.
Yeah. It wasn't really a match per se, because like you see Chono walking, he has that
Chono
walking.
Can't walk.
Yeah.
Neither can Muta.
No, but thankfully this was only a minute and a half, and he does the like a disaster kick for the win, and Chono goes over again, so Muta loses back to back.
Hey man, this is the thing though.
But
Chono's really special.
That final image though, the 2 of them together, the 3 of them actually,
was really special.
Yeah,
he didn't get to go out like how Muta went out, and that's very disappointing to me that we never got a farewell tour for him.
Because he got hurt.
Yeah. He just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Good on them.
Good on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good event.
Like, I mean, I don't kayfabe be damned. You know, I don't care if these guys can't go. I don't care what the story. The fact that we got to see Muta.
Add it to the list.
Chono.
Add it to the list, because we've just watched the ending of some of the greatest careers. And I'm not mad about it.
This is, I wouldn't call this a match of the year, but this is a moment of the year highlight.
This is definitely in the moment of the year. We had a few of those with like Kenny Omega and Okada being together.
Yeah.
And like stuff like that. Nakamura walking up the ramp with
Muta.
With Muta. I mean, even Julia winning the title and them hugging her and Shiri, that was a moment, definitely a moment of the year.
And to add the impact to that too, Tanahashi was crying. Like, he was overcome with emotion of being part of
heroes, man. This is like,
of being part of the, like, he was able to call on commentary history. It harkens back to when, like, that the Stardom event where that commentator, she was getting all emotional in the Kyrie versus thing
and this is different. This is not like having Orange Cassidy come on to see his favorite wrestler retire. This is a guy who's going to retire as probably the greatest New Japan wrestler of all time.
Yeah, this would be Kenny Omega sitting at ringside watching Chris Jericho's retirement match.
Yeah, exactly. Or The Rock watching Roman Reigns' retirement match, except Roman Reigns sucks.
Yeah.
It would be the opposite. Okay, because he's not his hero.
But
wow.
It was a good show. I enjoyed it. I had lots of fun. What would you rate this show?
Well, first of all, this video is 2 hours long. You might as well watch the pay-per-view. I didn't even think about this. I'm gonna give it an 8.
That's a very high score. Mine's up there. Mine's a 7.8.
Okay, you know what? Let's get closer together. Give me a 7.9.
Okay.
Just because I do think the length of the final match takes away a bit, and the sheer amount of matches is just like, it's not going to be for everyone. I think we got to think about everyone in this score.
If this isn't your cup of tea, definitely you can skip some of the matches. Like, watch that women's pre-show match for sure, and then watch like maybe the final 4 or 5 matches.
Yeah. Watch when it comes back for sure.
From intermission.
Because
that's when it picks up.
And I think that's a special moment that people need to see with the tag team match.
Yeah, for sure. With that out of the way, those are our scores. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks again for sticking with us. And we'll see you tomorrow for our review of Impact Wrestling's No Surrender.